Hi, we're back. We're back. Got my friend Sharron here today. Some of you may have seen my interview with Sharron from over a year ago.
Yes, right when COVID had started.
COVID started
about 1
last
month
year.
into it.
Yeah, and I met with Sharron and we talked about solo travel, being a mature woman traveling. Both of us are a little older women, but feeling great out here in the world.
Yeah.
We touched on dating, things like that. So we're gonna do a little, recap and kind of blend in some things today. So welcome back, Sharron.
Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah.
Good to see you again.
Yes, it's
actually,
good
really good to be back.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. You're here.
Yes.
So tell us, you're back in the DR
Yes.
for how long this time?
I've been here about 5.5, 6 weeks.
Okay.
I'm here till the end of the month.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have to say this time, no wind. 2 days, and I came to kite surf, and there's been no wind, lots of rain.
Oh,
But
good.
I'm still having fun. I'm taking this opportunity to transition into retirement, heal, lots of massages, and just taking advantage of the good prices and good for seeing old friends and having a good time.
So I'll say this quickly about healing. I find that, most people who are watching are looking at us from the US or wherever we be totally free here. And when you're in places like the US or what they call those first world countries where it's like go,
Yes,
do, you may not realize that you even need a certain type of healing, that you need that reprieve from the constant striving, that consumerism that never ends. You get to one thing, you get to this house, you need a bigger house, you need to furnish it, you need whatever's next.
Yeah.
And when you come here and pretty much all that stuff gets removed, I find that you're just left with yourself.
Yes.
And what you find, maybe if it's surprising, how you feel about yourself, how you feel as you interact with other people, what you notice. And it is a huge opportunity to really go inside and to explore what's going on with us. What do we really need? Do I need all the things I have? Do I need these extraneous relationships even sometimes that I maybe have clung to make me feel a certain way or to validate, And so when you say healing, I think a lot of us often think about, like you said, massage or sort of outer healing. But there's definitely an inner depth that we can get to here, I find. And I've talked to other people about this, and I think that it is a common experience that if you're willing, you can learn a lot about yourself through just, letting go of a lot of other stuff. So
Well, that's what I've been reflecting on, actually, just what you're saying. We both share a common interest in personal growth and spirituality. And I would say in my case, I've retired a year ago. And it's really a bigger transition than I realized. When I first retired, I had a lot of work to do for my mother. But now that's done. And so now you have to realize I'm no longer a mother. I'm no longer a wife.
Well, she's a mother, but she's not like an active with kids in the house.
Yeah, not an active mother. Kids are grown. I've got grandchildren. I'm not an employee, So I'm like, I could look at it like, oh my God, what's happening next? But I'm looking at it more like, okay, this is an opportunity. Brand new, clean slate. What am I going to create?
Yes.
And by having no wind and no power one day and no water, I felt like the universe said, Sharron, sit still and shut up and go within and try to figure out, from a positive perspective, what you want out of your life. What's important. And like you said, I don't want more money. I mean, I can always use a little more, but it's not so much about that. It's about reinventing a life with passion.
I think that's what it is. And so, I have a desire to make more money for sure, to have it so that I can do more things, so I can help myself, help other people. But it isn't just about the money. That's the thing. It's not just have it for the sake of having it or chase it because there's this, like, I'm being told somehow, like the conditioning I have is to get it, but really the goal is this. It's the relaxation, it's the freedom. I feel a lot of freedom in this country to be as I am, to, like we talked a little bit earlier about when you see different types of couples here, there really aren't rules with regard to, okay, this person goes with that person because they match, same race, same age, same, both are really in shape or both are not in shape. It's kind of like
anything goes.
I mean, sometimes you see people and you're like, how did that happen, But it also means you are free to do whatever you want to.
There's just no rules at every level. Or you could say there's the government rules and then there's the rules people follow, or the way they live, what they choose. There is two sets there.
Yeah, I don't even feel in terms of the government, like with regard to doing business or just being in the world here. And I mean, certainly this town, but also even in the capital or other cities, It feels pretty flexible.
Well,
Pretty
it is.
flexible.
I guess what I was thinking of in the back of my mind is when Semana came.
Semana Santa,
Or how do you say it?
Semana Santa.
Okay, and
It's the
for
Holy Week just before Easter.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it is the biggest. It's a 24/7 party.
Yeah.
It's a place most people here leave.
Yes.
To be out of the
Yes,
total
it's-
thousands of people in chaos.
That's a lot, yeah.
But in any case, what I noticed was the police were then requiring the motor conchos to have helmets.
Yes.
And that law was passed years ago. I remember when it was passed because it
Right.
came to town, and all of a sudden all the guys had helmets holding them on
Or
the
they're
side
like
of their bike.
loosely, they're not, the straps are dangling or
Yeah,
something.
they're just
you know?
hanging.
Yeah.
And I said, what's
yeah.
with this? And they said, well, they passed a law,
Yeah.
but they only put them on if the police are around.
Right.
And now it's kind of just gone away. But when Semana
Santa?
I cannot say it. But
okay.
anyway, they all of a sudden had to have helmets, which is probably good because the
Yes.
traffic was so bad. So,
Right.
But the passenger didn't. Just
No,
the driver.
just the driver has to have the helmet on.
So rules do not often make sense.
No, but some of them, for example, with Semana Santa, they had some of the beaches would close at 5 p.m. so
Yes.
that you could only get so drunk and be in the water because they want to avoid fatalities and people just are
Sure.
having such a good time.
Well, all water sports were not
Yeah,
allowed.
no water sports
no
at all.
kite surfing, nothing.
No, and so I feel just like with COVID, I feel like the government has done a good job of kind of shutting things down here. We do have a curfew in place, but it doesn't feel restrictive to me.
It's later, and they have restaurants open now, and we have
Yeah.
dancing. And
Yeah.
as I mentioned before, what's really, really been nice and hard to go home is it feels like pre-COVID. I feel like other than a mask in the grocery store and a few servers having them, it's kind of normal.
It feels pretty comfortable, and
Yeah.
I mean, I don't feel the need to be out late at night anyway.
No,
So I
no.
don't feel like my life is impeded in that
No,
way.
not at all.
And it's just so free when we are out.
Yes.
You know, I am comfortable. I know that there's some businesses that have been, deeply affected, and certainly workers. Like when hotels have shut down, there are a lot of people who are struggling through this. There have been people in town who have collected and donated food and really, made an effort, at least in this town, to assist those people. But I find that also there's a lot of creativity,
Yes,
in terms
yes.
of like ways to overcome and
They're
manage.
delivering food now to your place and
Well,
things like that.
That's a foreigner's business that they've created. But so it's like tip. So I'll speak on this really quickly. Tip the people who deliver your food. Tip the people who are serving you. There's a built-in 10% tip in restaurants anyway. But give people extra because they're making very little,
Yeah.
and in most cases they're working hard. Pay your housekeeper if you're here and you have that. Or if you're
Yes.
visiting, leave something for the people who are cleaning up after you. They got to wash behind you and wash your sheets and leave them some money. Be generous.
I don't think they realize how small the salaries here are. They're just phenomenally.
Yeah, I think
Little.
average is like $200 a month.
Yes.
I gave a ride to a woman coming down. This was a much older woman, who just looked very much like she'd worked hard all of her life. She was an older woman with a young girl, like a 9-year-old girl. And they were coming down the hill a couple days ago, and I was coming out of a driveway, and I said, and they were stopping. They had stopped by the side of the driveway, and I said, "Are you going down the hill? Do you want to ride?" She said, "Oh yeah, thank you, and God bless you." And they're always so quick to bless you. And so they got in the car, and this woman just started to tell me spontaneously about her life and how she lived. If you need me to wash your clothes, I will wash your clothes. And I was like, I didn't want her to do any work. Like I wouldn't
Yeah,
have felt
yeah.
right with her doing that. And she wasn't directly asking me for money, but I knew that she said, if you saw where I live, you would cry. And she's probably right,
Yeah.
because it's probably like dirt floor and very, very, very minimal,
Tin roof,
very
yeah.
humble. Yes. And so when she got out, I gave her a little something, a nice little chunk of something, and that's going to be for whatever, a short period of time.
Yeah.
But it's like I haven't had a second thought about that. Like, oh my gosh, now I'm out some dollars. So I'm saying this to say,
Give back.
give to people, give. You give and you receive. It's just a cycle. And people here are very giving. Even the people who have the least often will say,
Yes.
come and be with our family and eat. And you've made friends here where
Yes, yeah.
and they're just very inviting. And they're not always like looking to get something. There are some who see us as like dollar signs, or they're just going to be with you because they want you to do something for them.
But there's all kinds of people, good and bad.
Everywhere.
And
Everywhere, yeah.
I've made some very wonderful local Dominican
Yeah.
friends, and they've invited me into their homes. They cook for me.
Yes.
And they're not expecting anything.
No,
Very gracious.
and I will say this in terms of men too, in terms of dating here, ladies. We've all heard about, okay, well the men want you to pay, and they're just trying to get something out of you. I've been out with men who've not had me pay for anything.
Yeah, it's not all everything.
It's not, and there's some very nice people. You know, you have to be on your P's and Q's just like you would be any place else. But I don't feel like I'm on the verge of being taken advantage of in any kind of way, either by someone following me home or putting me in a dangerous situation or trying to like reach into my bag, you know, figuratively, and take from me in that way. You know, and what you offer them, and, you know, however you choose to interact is up to you. And those rules are loose, I will say that. I will just touch on, again, it's a broad stroke, but in terms of Dominican men, they do have the reputation of being very sweet talkers. I think that's a well-deserved reputation.
Yeah.
Because
I
mean,
agree.
the people in general are like, "Ay, mi amor," and they're just like slathering you with all this like, you know, these lovely words, and so it's hard not to be affected by that.
But you learn to handle it.
You do. I mean,
You
it's
know.
not like you're swooning constantly.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can swoon.
Yeah.
But then what you choose to do beyond that is very much up to you. Now, be aware that they may have, you know, and I think most likely do have a woman here, you know, and being married, I think is kind of a slippery term.
Yes,
Because
yes.
legal marriage, they may not be legally married, but they're connected to somebody often.
Yeah.
Or they've got some kids here, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So just, I would just say be mindful, ladies. If you are interested in engaging with a man, you know, just be aware.
And I would add in, I've told some of those stories to my friends at home, and I would say, you know, don't get offended, because it's not like home where everyone's so proper.
Yeah,
They're
no.
very, very flirtatious, and there's no harm associated
See, I
to
smiled.
it.
I was like,
They
yes.
they just say what they think.
Yeah.
And so there's no point getting in a big huff about it because you're American and how dare they, and this is not politically correct, because get over it. And in fact, I will make a comment that, and you can cut this part if it's not good, but just yesterday we have a mutual dance instructor, Israel, who's the
Yes.
sweetest,
He is
hottest
sweet. And
man.
he's super cute, yeah.
I wish I was 30 years younger, yeah, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, you tell me, you know, there's a man we know named Negreta or
Negrito.
Negrito. And Israel was telling me how this is I said, you could not say that at home because it means black. And he said, well, it's really common to say, hey, black boy, or hey, black girl.
Yeah.
Just
Or hey,
as-
fatty.
or even
Ay,
as-
gordita.
Yeah, but as almost an endearment, if you will. It's
Yeah.
just, he's so common. People say that to me all the time. I said,
Yeah.
well, I would go to jail at home, let
Yeah.
alone whatever else
No,
backlash.
culturally,
Yeah.
it's, I don't know if it goes so far as to say a term of endearment, but they call you what you are. So I'm very tall. I get constantly referred to as grande or grandota. Ay, que mujer grande. All the time. And at first I was like thinking grande means big, like I'm
Yeah.
fat or something, and I'm
They're
not
tall.
skinny.
Yeah.
But yeah, but they're like, no. They're actually like,
Yeah.
it's a positive regard.
Yes.
I've heard a mother call her daughter, ay, mi gordita, my little fat one. And this was like a grown daughter. And I thought, oh, isn't she? And I asked her, I said, doesn't that hurt her? She's like, oh, no, it's just what we do. So,
Yeah, so you have to adjust, and we talked about this another time. When you go to another country, you know, sit back and observe everything, not the behaviors. Realize you don't understand how they function, and we were talking about how there's no time, right? If you have an appointment and it's at 12, they may not come. They may come
well,
at 1:30.
I'll tell you, between 12 and 2, forget it, because that is the lunch hour.
Yeah, there you
lunch
go.
hours.
Right.
That's not happening.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's something very particular, you've made, you know, significant arrangements. That's
Yes.
very sort of sacred time. You know, they
Yeah.
go and they eat, they're with their families, they're with their lover, whatever.
Yeah.
But those hours are not. Nothing's going to happen. And Sundays, everything's pretty much shut down.
Another thing I found out, I was talking with someone, that happens if I try to text or give instructions to one of my local friends and I put 2 statements, then only the second one is observed.
Oh.
And the first one is, I've said too many things because it's in English and they're
okay.
Spanish, and it's like, just send one at a time and let that soak in.
Okay.
And send the other. Otherwise, you can say, well, I know what just happened at my place. Claudia sent to the motor concho, please pick me up at my casa and take me to Playa Bonita. So he went and sat at Playa Bonita.
He did.
Yeah.
Oh,
And this
waiting
is-
for you?
No, for thinking he didn't say, here, pick me up at my casa.
Oh, she
should have
didn't get
she
that
didn't
part.
even tell him where she was going.
Right,
Just
right.
pick me up. And I run into
Oh.
this all the time, so does she. You have to keep it simple because of the language problem. Like, we don't
Yeah,
speak Spanish good.
right.
See, you speak
I don't
it.
have that, so
Yeah,
I don't
see,
know.
well, so you wouldn't even know. See, there you go.
No, I
So
don't
I'm
have
having a different experience because
Yeah.
I would say also, as a solo traveler, I don't speak Portuguese. I've been to Brazil. I've been in a lot of countries. I manage fine, but I do things to prepare for it. I am very, very well prepared. I
Please
have
learn
an-
some Spanish. You don't have to be fluent. You don't have
No.
to really know. but have some phrases.
And Google Translate and a dictionary. I do it all. I have an extra phone.
Yeah.
Because as a solo travel, if you lose your phone, I feel you're dead. Basically, especially off the beaten
Way to
path.
communicate.
And,
yeah.
Well, your tickets for the plane. I mean, everything is just whoa.
Well, this is an area that's definitely it's remote. It's a remote location, which for a lot of reasons would not be okay with some people. They want to be more like connected and like in a sanitized, a very kind of a sterile resort environment where they know the front desk clerk will speak English and you can pick up the phone and someone's going to be able to communicate with you. Here, that may or may not happen.
That's great.
A lot of locals do not speak English, and so you're either willing to kind of stumble through it or.
Well, like in Brazil, I was stuck in the airport one time that no one spoke English.
Yeah.
And my taxi was supposed to arrive after 25 hours in the flight.
Wow.
And they mixed up midnight with noon.
Oh,
So they had come and gone. And so there I am, no one speaks English. And, but luckily, again, I also make a portfolio. And I just point and they call. And luckily the taxi was only an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
It all worked out.
Yeah.
But you have to be comfortable with getting stuck, with things going wrong, with not speaking the language. So you have an edge. Portuguese is very similar to Spanish, at least half of it.
Yeah.
But I manage. I love it. I love that difference. I love the difficulty.
I think that there's for people who are willing to step outside of their comfort zone and come to a place like this. Again, it's not just very completely tourist oriented. There's some of us who are willing to do that. For those of you who are a little bit more nervous, either take a chance or you go to some place that does cater more to, it's going to put you on the bus and show you around and do all those things. This is much more like, hey, go do your thing.
Except
find
this
your
is quite
way.
a safe place. This is heavily expated compared to many places. There's a lot of people here.
Yeah, there are.
That I just think it's quite comfortable.
There are
good
way more
grocery
expats
stores
now.
And there are people who speak English and
only the good ones come. Don't come if you like. There's too many people coming now.
Oh yeah.
Stop. Stem the tide.
It is a beautiful spot.
It is lovely. It is lovely. So
one of the best I've been to, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. So would you date a Dominican man?
Would I? I guess.
¿Es mi? ¿Todo bien?
Sí, muy bien,
You threw me a
gracias.
curveball there, Kelly.
I did. It's like just for fun.
Okay, so here we go.
Yeah.
It'll go a different direction than you thought.
Okay.
I haven't been dating at all, really, to speak of. A little bit a while ago, and that kind of literally threw my whole back out of joint because it was such an issue for me. just the freaking out over it.
It could be a double entendre.
Okay, I didn't mean that. I meant out of the stress of the idea of allowing someone in my wonderful happy space.
Yes.
Okay, let me say it that way. Don't interpret
okay.
that in another way.
Más alcohol.
Not
This
me.
is the lightweight
that's you.
drink. Yeah, it's just a lightweight.
So, but what I would say is, at this point in my life, since you went this way, I'm really, really happy, and I wouldn't mind someone in my life, but the expectations are high. Because of the happiness, I don't need to fill an empty space. So if you're not going to add, it doesn't work.
Right.
And so often in these tourist spots, you're back to a lot of the Dominican men, and this is just a fact, they're getting on the tourists and this and that. And I really need a man who's more of an equal, if you will. And there are Dominican men here, I'm sure, in cities or in jobs or having a company. And I also need that higher awareness and consciousness and ability to communicate, a spirituality. So, yeah, if you met all my a million requirements, I'm open. But don't call me. I'm not looking. I'm just out enjoying life and
Well, I
traveling.
think just having fun. I think it's easy to meet someone for a cup of coffee or a drink or have lunch.
I
Very
don't seem to have
easy
that
do.
happen.
No?
No. But girlfriends and people, I'm having a really good time. So
I've decided to have more fun, and I'm having more fun.
well, good for you. Yeah, but you live here. You have a million more connections than me.
Yeah, and it's just instead of, because I could easily say, well, I only want someone who fits this and this and this and this. And I'm like, well, wait a second, that's a very short list. Or I say, you know what, sure, I'll have coffee with you.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
And not anything excessive.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think this is great for you. I am older, and I think the issue I run into is, as an older person, whether you guys think this or not, I'm very young at heart.
Yeah,
for my age.
sure.
And I mentioned I'm 68, and I'm kite surfing, and I'm dancing. And
awesome.
so even with my girlfriends, I have girlfriends that like dancing, but a lot of people don't want to kite surf. And the problem with that is, I don't really need you to, but then you need to be able to go your own way.
Yeah.
And a lot of my days, as Kelly's been frustrated with, is I don't know when the wind's going to blow.
I've been trying to get her to do this interview for a long time. Like, come on.
For like 5 weeks. But I have to sit and wait till 12, 1, well, maybe it'll be in a half hour. And then finally by 2, my instructor says no wind today. Well, now I'm free, but I never know, and it is my priority. And so I've had 2 days of kiting in 6 weeks. This is not good. So I will just take it as I was meant to chill. And
that's like when the rain came, you know, we all were like, well, I guess we're just going to lay inside and relax and catch up on some rest. It was wonderful. So I think it's very much a go with the flow kind of an experience here. Estamos muy bien, gracias.
Ay, qué bueno.
Ven a decir hola. Es para
We're doing a
YouTube.
video.
Ven
No.
aquí, es un video.
Hola.
Ven. ¿Cómo te llamas?
Hola, Nai.
Nai. No, bend down. Para ellos que... Yeah. Linda. There you go. So everyone's super friendly.
Yes. Oh, people are. Everyone is so kind and friendly, and I really do enjoy that.
Yeah, I do too. I do too.
So anyway, dating hasn't been a priority right now. It's just living. Just
it wasn't a
my
priority
life.
for me either, but it was like, have some more fun, you know what I mean?
I'm not against it. Yeah, and I really...
No, but I do think, again, like I said, for the ladies anyway, I mean, men, you know, men are men, you guys figure it out for yourselves, but for the ladies who tend, I think for at least American women, we are conditioned, well, some of us anyway are conditioned, like, you know, you let the man lead and let the man do this, and I've been told, well, you know, maybe you need to be a little bit more aggressive and say something to him or, you know, show some interest. I mean, I think you show interest. That being said, I think there's some rules that are just don't apply here. You do what you do when you do it, according to how you both feel. You know, I don't know. So what happens after that? I don't know either. You can find out. But I think I found a lot of women who are dating.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I know plenty of people who are dating and they're having a good time. Now, I will say that most of them are dating multiple people. It doesn't mean sleeping with them. But you're just, you know, just trying on people for size and saying, hey, sure, I'll go to lunch with you, or you look cute, or maybe I will smooch you. You know, just open yourself up to enjoy people, not you, I'm saying, but just in general, and see what happens. And maybe someone you do strike something with, and other people it's just, all right.
I think if I was younger, that would be easier, and I think you're right. But I think a lot of people, again, at this age, come as a couple, older retired couple, right? You know, and the ones that aren't retired couples are, you know, here for a good time.
And that's why I say in terms of like dating Dominican men, because a lot of them are very connected, and so you have to be understanding of that's just the culture.
Right.
And
but
so
I
that
would
can
just
be
say
a little
dating
tricky.
for me is here. Isn't, you know, maybe in a city, maybe if I was working, maybe some of the expats if I was integrated. But as it is, I came for a couple months to kick back.
Just
and
relax.
I'm disconnected from all my bills, my yard work, my family.
Nice.
It's
good.
Free. It's good.
That's good. That's good.
So.
All right.
Okay.
Well, it was a nice chat.
Yes, it was.
I'm glad
really
you're
good
back.
To see you and be here.
Too.
And of course, there's next year.
Yes, always.
Yes.
All right, you guys. Well, thanks for tuning in again. I hope you enjoyed the lovely view, the lovely conversation. And as always, questions or whatever, go to my website, freeislandgirl.com. And if you want a consultation about anything, you can schedule one. How's that?
Bye-bye.
All right. See you later. Bye.